Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Nerd Caliber. This is Manny, and I'm here with.
Sky, also known as Colonial Armory Cosplay.
And what are we reviewing today?
We're reviewing the MGear Magnetic Multibelt Pro Extreme Carbon Fiber. It's a heavy-duty, everyday carry belt.
Wow, that sounds. The name's very impressive.
Mhm.
What did you think of the item?
So I got the package a few days ago, and I've been wearing it ever since. And I've overall enjoyed it. Reminds me of an old belt I got called a rigger's belt, which is essentially like a heavy-duty belt using for like belaying or like acting as like a belaying point for someone else. There's a lot of really interesting things to it. The actual belt buckle itself is a strange magnetic clasp. When you use it, you don't actually have a. It's not like a parachute buckle where you have like the tongs to click, or like a traditional buckle where you have the tine and loop. It is a it is a peg and loop that hold onto each other, and the thing that keeps them from falling out of line is heavy duty neodymium magnets. Uh, the magnets are actually, it's really difficult unless you do it in the right way of removing them. If anyone's ever dealt with rare earth magnets at all, uh, not surprising. The good thing that they did though is the spacing on the front of the buckle, where they have a nice little multi-tool, uh, is far enough that you won't randomly pick up like metal things off of your table or your desk as you're standing up, which was a concern I had.
Would you be able to show us exactly
Oh,
um, what you mean by like the how?
so this is what the belt buckle looks like on the front, uh, and then that's the back. So in order to open it, you push it in, and there's a little nub here that holds onto this post. So when you push it together, they slide up. They leverage apart. So right now, like I could, I could probably, I'd probably end up breaking the post before actually like sliding it out accidentally. So it's a really, it's easy once you know what you're doing to like open and close it, but it actually holds surprisingly well.
Oh wow.
Um, Obviously, I didn't do destructive testing on this, but it feels pretty durable in that regard.
You mentioned this is it's a multi-tool. What do you mean by that exactly?
So this, yep, no, I had it on right. This is a multi-tool. It's held in place by the same magnet, right there.
Wow. Okay.
Uh, the magnet you can see right through there, and there is a carbon fiber like facade on the front of the buckle. It's aluminum, so the metal itself is lightweight and also non-magnetic, so you're not worrying about it sticking to itself. Um, the tool here is a screwdriver, a box cutter, and strap cutter for like a seatbelt straps. It's like one of those like emergency seatbelt cutters. Bottle opener, which is also a little wrench, and there's like a flathead screwdriver bit up here. Um, I was through my few days of using this as my everyday belt. I was expecting the one thing I'd actually end up using most on this would be the bottle opener. To be honest, like uh, having a bottle opener useful, even if it is just to pry open other things. It's always nice to have. However, I actually ended up using the box cutter and the strap cutter a few times, and it does what it needs to do. It's a pretty sharp blade. Um, my one concern would be is if I were to work in a warehouse or do something that required constant use of a box cutter. I wouldn't use that. But of course, that's the same argument of people that use folding knives in a warehouse. You just tend to use the disposable razor blades and just call it a day. That said, it's pretty durable. Like if you just need a small knife that is like holds off of your finger and is pretty manageable to use, it's does its job. It does its work.
Okay. Before we did this video, you mentioned before that the strap itself is very durable. Do you
Oh
mind
yeah,
talking about that?
yeah. So the strap itself is really thick. It's about at least twice the thickness of like a really heavy duty backpack strap. It's very similar in like thickness and kind of feel to like high end tie downs, like truck tie downs or like any sort of cargo tie down. Um, it's nylon, so it's similar material or same material. Uh, Heavily stitched. Like it is like black on black isn't easy to see, but it is very much like reinforced stitch, um, very tight. But like you can see, it is pretty rigid, so it holds a circle really well. Um, which is funny when you take off because of how you have to put this on. You have to basically feed it through your belt loops and then reattach this adjustable strap through the buckle. So when you have this in your like in your pants belt loops, and you take off your pants, this stays open unless you like actively fold it. Your pants just kind of stick open like a weather mane, like one of those weather socks that you see at an airport,
Okay.
which is funny. It's not a problem, but it's just funny to see. Like you just put your pants on the ground and just hoop.
Do you feel that this MGear belt will be useful to cosplayers?
Yeah, so it is the one thing that from my personal experience, a thing that I would use this belt for, which would work really well because I played around with it a bit with some of my stuff, is any sort of costume in which you have like a hip holster or any sort of like drop leg platforms, whether it's like a drop leg holster or drop leg like molly platforms, anything that you need to attach to a belt but has weight to it. Um, this works really well for because a normal like a cloth belt or any sort of like lighter belt can deform um, like out like deform downward. So you get like belt dip belt back up where that weight is. This one doesn't do that. Um, from like previous belts I've used, it's always a hassle because it like falls down. These actually hold your hips really well and act as a really solid platform to build off of. Also, it looks cool. Like that can't be not mentioned. It looks pretty cool. It also isn't too locked into a specific genre. So it doesn't look like, oh, that's a cyberpunk thing. Oh, uh that's like a retro thing or anything like that. It's interesting without being too tied down to a specific thing. Um so I could definitely see this being like modern, near future, space western, um like like it was used in Mandalorian. Like it worked there. So there's a lot of different options of like how to utilize it without any modification. It just like letting it be its thing while also using it for other stuff. I didn't get to test it on a scabbard because I don't have a scabbard and I don't have a sword to put in it. But like I would imagine it would be really good for stuff like that too.
Do you recommend this belt? Do you see you using this belt a lot for your costumes in the future?
Yeah. So I am definitely planning on using this on my costumes. Uh, it's a pretty like as soon as you figure out that sweet spot of it's harder to adjust than a normal belt because you have to like uh since you have to like feed this part back through your belt loops and readjust it. It's a little more annoying to readjust than like my normal web belts. But when you get it in that butter zone of like comfortable but still tight, it is a comfortable belt to wear. It gives like kind of support, I guess.
Mm.
So I'm probably gonna end up using this as like my work belt as well, as well as like for costuming, because like I said, really good for drop leg platforms, and I use a lot of those in costumes.
I will put a link below in the description for anyone that wants to check out this belt. Thank you for giving us this review. Again, where can people find you online if they want to see more of your cosplay work?
Yeah, you can look me up on Instagram at Colonial Armory, and also on Facebook, same name at Colonial Armory.
Excellent. Well, yeah, again, thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe out there and have a good day.